one hit line drive.
Want to lose weight?
I don't know what happened there.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, dude. What is up? What's happening, man?
Good, man. I'm good, man. Just trying to stay sane. I mean, other than the fact that everything's a little bit different, it's pretty much the same.
I love it. I love it. Hey, dude, I appreciate your patience. I know that we've had to bounce around a little technology stuff. That's what happens when you do these live things. It's an honor having you on. A great conversation with George. I mean, I can't think of, as he was talking through the gig economy, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to talk to Reezy. And then it was like real estate. We got a real estate guy coming in. His name's Jordan. And Jordan's got some really unique takes on kind of what they're doing to invest in real estate. So, from a tactical perspective, I think this conversation is definitely needed. You and I met.
It's a Facebook comment.
It was on a Facebook comment. Did I comment on your stuff or was it on a Gary V thread?
I think it was my stuff. I don't recall, but I do remember that I had made a post that was, maybe I was having a bad day, struggling with something. I just remember it was a little bit of me feeling overwhelmed or something, I believe. And you just chimed in and it was real quick. You just said, hey, brother, give me a call. I want to help you. And I believe you put your phone number right in the chat or in the comment right there, or you DM'd me or something. And I had just got out of a Starbucks sitting in my car and I was like, you know what? Opportunity knocked and I'm going to call this guy right now and see, I didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
I checked your profile, a cursory glance, and I was like, well, doesn't look like this is going to be all bad, so let's see what the
totally
upside,
creepy.
what the upside would be,
Yeah.
And gave you a call and, what I was speaking at Meltdown, a few months later.
Yeah. It's I know there's a lot here from an introduction perspective, but what you're going to experience, we're going to do this in probably 30, if that's okay. Are you good with 30?
I will try. I will try my best.
Okay. If we go a little bit over, we're good.
Especially just prod me along if you need to.
Okay. So the next speaker, for those that are tuning in or watching this on the replay, we're going to get a little bit tactical. And the reason, one of the things that's important to me is I don't like to talk about stuff that I haven't done. It's not like some thinking about doing and then you're trying to sell it as something. It's the tactics on how to specifically do something. Long story short, I met Reezy. I used to do these Facebook Lives on Friday and I would do them for a couple hours. As long as there was questions, I would do it. And it was around business and marketing and social media. Like I would just answer any questions that you had in real time. One of the questions that came up over and over and over was, do you know any fast, quick ways to make money? And I would laugh. I'm like, dude, don't you think I'd be doing that? If there was like some easy way to be making scratch, I would be doing it. But if you get asked a question enough, you start to think, well, there's an opportunity there, right? It's that debt. It's like, George's story about the $20 bill is there's an opportunity because people have a problem that needs to be solved. And can you solve it? Instead of being a snark, I don't even remember how, and it inadvertently came into a 360 is I got turned on to setting up an Amazon store, scanning books, going into a thrift store, scanning books. Books are like records. You either read them or they don't. They're brand new. And there's a resale value on them. People buy them and they collect them. So it literally started with a guy, John Quick, and I did a video series and put a course together called Simple Money Methods. And it was just literally on how do I use a couple apps, my phone, and can I go in and make a couple $100 a week, which turns into, $500, $600, $700 a month. That's good cake if I'm like struggling. If I'm doing 3 or 4 jobs, like that's a difference.
Yeah, it's a car payment.
It is. It's car payment. It's groceries, utilities. And we helped, I don't know, there's probably a few thousand people that I either gave it to as a scholarship or bought the program. But in the middle of all of that, that's when Gary Vee was talking about garage sailing and flipping. And then I got turned on to your stuff and it was like, oh, wait a minute, I thought I knew what I was doing. This dude's doing it full time. I'm doing it as a hobbyist, like to help. This guy's doing this every day, all day. And like what I thought I knew, I don't know anything. Like here's how big the knowledge base is. I know this. Here's what Reezy knows. And I just started following your stuff as a fan to learn more myself. Like I didn't like there were so many great things that you do because you show in real time. And then when you posted that, hey man, I'm having a down day, it was like, yo, if there's anything I can do. At that time, we were running a film studio in Phoenix, and it was like, if you want to come down, dude, like, why don't you film some stuff here? We'll create some stuff for you. I'll be happy just to help you. You don't got to pay for it. Just like, I'm a fan of what you do. You've provided value to me, but so many other people. If I can help you, dude, I'm down. I didn't want anything in return. It was my way of giving back to show you my appreciation for what you've done for so many. That led to what Reezy said, where essentially I had him come on stage. He did an hour and a half where he went through the tactics of literally how to, he built a 7-figure Amazon business. That's revenue, not profit. So it's not, he's not driving Lambos and flexing on Instagram.
High 6 figures.
High 6 figures, right? It's a guy who very much like I was, grew up in a broken home. We were told we were never going to be anything. He dropped out of high school, married his high school sweetheart. They're still together, had a baby. It's like all these things that were supposedly excuses to stack against him. And the dude's doing real things. So he did about an hour and a half on Amazon. It was important for me because that isn't the same anymore. How Amazon moves and operates, it's not the same as it was. And I'm seeing Reezy, I'm seeing the stuff that you're doing in the gig economy, which is, for people that don't know, think of it as Uber. It's Uber Eats, it's grocery delivery, it's all the stuff, like the opportunities that arrive because you have to stay home and somebody else has to do something for you, right? He's moving different. He's moved in a way and adapted new things that I think are very, very relevant. What you're going to hear in the next 30 minutes is, Reezy, do you want to turn this into a QA, or I'm going to let you run?
I got it. I took some notes and I'm ready to spit.
So here's what's going to happen. People that are tuning in, I'm going to turn the screen over to Reezy. He's going to have full spotlight, and he's going to start to go through his thoughts on where we are in the market. The value you're going to get out of this will be some nuggets specifically on helping those that are in a financial pinch. If you're looking for that extra little bit of something because of where we find ourselves, Reezy's going to give you the blueprint. So
awesome. Feel free to chime in if you need to prod me along, or if you have any questions or whatever.
Gotcha. I'm going to give you a start. I'm going to go pee, dude. I've not left the seat since 5 this morning. I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to come right back, and we are going to run it. So my man, without further ado, Reezy, I'm going to turn this into you. Go get it.
Awesome. Big shout out to Kolby K, guys. Follow Kolby K. Meltdown in the Desert, the event that Kolby held that I spoke at. I believe it was over a year ago. Time flies when you're having fun, so I'm not too sure exactly when that was. It was one of the best conferences that I ever went to. The vibe, the motivation, the energy, and the friendships that were formed there. Most importantly, I believe, it's just incredible value. It's a lot different than any other conference I ever went to. So I do recommend anyone being a part of what Kolby is laying down, because it's always worth picking up. So I'm going to start this off real quick by letting you know that if the internet hasn't changed your life, you are not playing the game right. And this is something I've known from the very beginning, when I first, had an AOL free internet trial, and, we kept renewing it. And I was like, wow, this internet thing is going to be big. And I was always looking for ways to make, money on the internet or to change my life. And it definitely changed my life. And so if it changed my life, I know it can change your life. And I want you to think about ways that you can use the internet to change your life. So, and in order to illustrate that point, I want to share a little bit about my background. I grew up poor, government, healthcare, welfare, food stamps. I lived with every member of my family. My parents have been in prison and in jail, drug addict, alcohol issues, domestic violence. I was a bad kid in school. I've been homeless. I've lived in vehicles. I've stayed at friends' houses for extended periods of time because, my home life wasn't too good. My parents divorced at a young age. I didn't have any real role models. Rappers were like some of the first role models that I looked up to because they were successful and they were talking about things that I could relate to. My parents didn't graduate college, never made a lot of money, never owned a house, never had a nice car. The other day I saw a car on the side of the road and my daughter was like, "Oh, what's wrong with this car?" And she was like, I don't see that every day. And I was like, wow, it just kind of made me feel away because every car my family ever had, we were always on the side of the road. So, um, growing up, I also I started doing drugs when I was 12 years old, and including selling drugs, which was my introduction into the marketplace of selling things. I ended up getting shipped away to live with family in another state. I met my wife in 10th grade. We had a kid early in my junior year, dropped out of high school when I was 16, took the GED test the same day, and started working full time. So that's a little bit about my story. And then what happened with me as far as I started to get involved with e-commerce via just ads that I had seen on television. And my little brother was playing around with eBay at the time. So I got involved. I couldn't let my little brother outdo me on the profiteering side, especially since we had finally figured out a way to make money on the internet. And we sold pretty much everything in our entire house that my mom would let us sell. Eventually, that led to me discovering Amazon and used books selling on Amazon. And what I'm going to tell you guys, in order, it can change your life, but the money is not the most important part. It can make you money, and sure, you can make 6 figures, 7 figures. I know people that make 10 figures a year selling, or gross sales, I mean, selling on Amazon or eBay in the e-commerce field. But in my opinion, that's not the most valuable part. The most valuable part is that the freedom you can gain from creating a revenue stream from the internet can change your life, because it can give you the free time and the luxury to pursue what you really want to do, your passion, the thing that fulfills you, the thing that's going to let you leave a legacy and change the world and be remembered. So I wanted to share a couple of things with you guys, because if I can do this, I know you guys can too. A long time ago, maybe about 4.5 years ago, found a copy of Gary Vee's book, Crushing It, or Crush It, actually, the original book. That's when I learned who Gary Vee was, and that's when I started to get onto social media more. Had always wanted to do YouTube. A friend of mine, a local kid, Garrett Jenner, a skateboarder, has a YouTube channel. He happened to show me his bank deposit one day at the skate park, and that made it real to me. I was like, wow, Gary Vee giving the advice, plus here's someone in real life actually doing it. That's all it took to send me deep into the social media and the personal brand world, which is strange because what I talk about and teach on the internet, I was doing it for well over a decade before I started talking and sharing about it. And I would always keep it super close secrets. So in the past 15 years, I've worked full time for myself, selling on Amazon and eBay, mostly Amazon in the past decade. And I've sold over 5 million gross sales in used books alone. And I am not super rich. I'm not rich by a lot of people's standards, I would imagine, but I feel rich. I can do a lot of things that I never, kids like me were never supposed to be able to take their wife to the Eiffel Tower for our 18-year marriage anniversary, or to a trip to Venice, Italy for our 19-year marriage anniversary. We have our 20th year marriage anniversary coming up this year, and I really don't know how I'm going to top that. I kind of screwed that one up, but basically selling online has completely changed my life, and I want you guys to utilize it so that you can change your life, whether it is just making extra money to pay your car payment, or completely revolutionizing everything and allowing you to, do that music career that you really wanted to do, or to make videos, or to be a public speaker, or, to show up to events like this and inspire others. So I have some notes here, and I just want to tell you guys that I don't tell you the things that I've done to brag, but just to illustrate more of the point that, like, look, if I've done it, you can do it too. And I also realize that that might not be totally true, because of the life that I've had. I've become comfortable with my back against the wall. Like, when I have no option but to succeed, you can guarantee I'm going to succeed. And I think it's important to understand that and learn to put your mind in that place so that you can harness that same kind of power. I think it's The Power of Broke, right? Read that book if you haven't read that book. It's a good one. So first things first, if I'm going to give you like 3 different main ways to make money on the internet right now. And the first one, it wouldn't be Reezy Resells if I didn't tell you guys about selling used books on Amazon. So Used books are very profitable. You can buy them for $1 on average, usually at thrift stores, yard sales, garage sales, whatever. And then you can sell them on Amazon or eBay for, 10, 20, 40, 50, 100. I sold a $800 book before, and I know people that have sold multiple $1,000 books before. So it is not impossible. And if you grind hard, you can totally, totally make it work. So what I want you guys to do is to sign up for all of these different platforms. Sign up for eBay selling account. Sign up for an Amazon selling account. Download all of these apps, Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, Depop. Sign up for every platform you can, and then learn how it works and how to utilize it, right? So some of the most important things, I don't have a lot of time, so I got to really go fast and summarize this stuff for you. So for eBay, the most important thing for you guys to know is to know how to look at completed sales, right? So when you search for something on eBay and you find it, that doesn't mean you can sell it for that much. You need to look at completed and sold items and see what it actually sold for, right? And furthermore, you want to see what it sold for recently, right? And you also need to understand, is it a thick market or is it a thin market? Which means you need to see how many times something didn't sell, not just how many times it sold. So don't just look at sold and completed, because if you see that someone listed this hat 10 times and it only sold once, that means there's like a 10% sell-through rate on that product, which means, you don't want to buy hundreds of them because 90% of them aren't going to sell, right? So is the market thick or is the market thin? And what is it actually selling for, not listed for right now and historically, right? So that is very important. That's the most important part of eBay. Now for Amazon, it's a little bit different. You don't have completed sales on eBay or on Amazon, excuse me. You do have an item though, or a metric called sales rank. On Amazon, sales rank is a number that represents how popular an item is in a certain category. So the lower the number, the more an item sells. And you can use services like Keepa or Camel to see the sales rank graph historically. And they also track prices historically. So you can see how often something sells by how often the graph spikes for the sales rank, because when it sells, the rank gets lower, and devoid of sales, it gets higher, right? So you can use the Amazon seller app, the camera in your phone, to scan a barcode of an item, and you can instantly see how fast it's selling. You can see how many reviews it has, right? Lots of reviews equals lots of sales. And most importantly, for beginner Amazon sellers, you can see if you're actually allowed to sell this item. Unfortunately, a lot of brands and categories on Amazon are restricted to new sellers, and it just takes a while of selling on Amazon until you hit a level where they will trust you enough to sell in those brands and categories. So when you scan an item, it will show you are approved to sell this item or you're not approved to sell this item. If you're not approved, look it up on eBay or any other marketplace to see if you guys can make money selling it on another platform. But whatever you can sell on Amazon, you should, because you need to build up that record so you can get unlocked. Because in the long run, I firmly believe that Amazon is the better platform. Amazon is going to make you more money with less time. It's easier to scale. When you list a product on Amazon, it's not like eBay. You don't have to take a picture and you don't have to write a description. There's software. You can just scan the barcode and list it and you're ready to go. And even more importantly, Amazon has a service called Fulfilled by Amazon, which lets you ship all of your inventory to them in bulk. They will store it and then give it the Prime badge for the shoppers to see. Now they think Amazon's actually selling it. And then when they buy it from you, Amazon pulls it off their warehouse shelves and ships it to the customer. So you are batching your time out. Instead of, shipping 10 or 100 products a day, you could ship 1,000 or 10,000 on pallets out to Amazon all in one day, and then wait for it to arrive, and then take a vacation if you wanted to, and your inventory will still keep selling and keep arriving to customers. Customers really trust that Prime badge. Now, that is just general selling on Amazon, right? So going to a thrift store is technically retail arbitrage. And that means you got a product from retail and you sold it for more money online, right? Arbitrage, right? So it's still arbitrage, going to garage sales, going to yard sales, but the rabbit hole is extremely deep. There is, you can go to Walmart and buy stuff, not even just the clearance section, right? Especially right now during COVID, there are so many items and categories that are so profitable to sell because the chain of supply is very messed up and it's not caught up with the demand. But, there's big retail stores you can shop at, but you know, don't be afraid. If you don't have big retail stores, you can buy online from these big retail stores. So that is called online arbitrage. So we're talking about arbitrage in general. We talked about thrift stores. We talked about retail arbitrage. Now we're talking about online arbitrage, which is buying from websites and it arriving to your house and then you processing it and sending it off to Amazon. You could even use a prep service, a third-party service where when you order it, you don't ship it to your house, you ship it to the prep service and they process it and send it off to your Amazon account for you. Then you don't have 500 million packages in your house and have your wife getting angry that you're processing a shipment on the dining table, right? So there's that as well. But the rabbit hole goes even deeper. There is a business model called Wholesale on Amazon, which is having a website, having a legit company, making accounts with brands and distributors, ordering stuff from their product catalog, and then sending it into Amazon. So it's still the same, but the way you're sourcing the products is different and you're not running around, right? You're sourcing from your laptop through a distributor, wholesaler catalog, running it through software to analyze it and, you know, making decisions that if it works, when it sells, you can just buy more. Is it still profitable to sell? Good. Let's buy it from the supplier again. Let's send it back into Amazon, right? And so that is Wholesale in a nutshell. There's so much more nuances to this stuff, but I figured it would be better for me to just hit you with a lot of stuff to expose you to the opportunity, and you can then go further look that information up later, maybe on my YouTube channel or other places. So after Wholesale, we have private label. Now, private label is making your own product. So, for example, you see this light behind me. This is a RGB LED strip. It comes with a little remote control. This is a private label product that I purchased on Amazon. It's not any specific brand. The brand might be called, you know, Electronics and More or .com or whatever. But the gist of it is that someone looked up, did research, realized that RGB LED strips like this sell. Then they purchased some from a Chinese supplier on Alibaba.com or, you know, maybe tested it on AliExpress. Then you get the products, you make Amazon listing, and then you send the products into Amazon. And then people like me buy it. Then you get a good sales rank, you get reviews. Then the Amazon algorithm picks it up, and then you start making a lot of organic sales, ideally, right? You might run ads as well, but that is private label. I've been real into making tiki cocktails lately, thanks to COVID, because I've been trapped at home, right? And so I had to buy a lemon squeezer, right? So make fresh lemon juice. As soon as the thing came, I was like, oh, wow, this is a private label product. I look at the packet. It's not like, you know, a big brand that you would see at Bed Bath & Beyond. It's a brand made by someone like me and you who realized that lime squeezers sell well. So they went and they sourced a product. You didn't make a brand new product. These products already exist from suppliers in China. You find one, you test it, you get inspected, you get your brand name screened on it or stamped on it. Maybe you modify it a little bit. You make your own packaging. You have a website. You release the product. Cool. The lemon squeezer does good. Now maybe you can make other kitchen products around that, jam them all together, do well enough, and maybe you can get your products in Bed Bath & Beyond, or maybe you can sell the brand, right? That's a big difference between arbitrage and private label. Is with private label, you're building brands, right? You could do it like a white label and not build a brand, but you should be building a brand, having success with the product, adding more products that fit around that catalog and make sense, and then building wealth. It's not passive income, but it's work when you have to, and then the income keeps coming in, right? So that is private label. The next one is huge, and it's going to lead me into our second main thing, and that is print on demand, right? And also I want to add, all of these businesses can be started from literally $0, guys. I started my Amazon business with $5. You can start your business by shopping your house, right? So take your Amazon app, scan everything in your house that you don't want or don't need. If it's worth money, or if it's valuable to sell on eBay, sell it on eBay, sell it on Amazon. Go through your entire house, right? By the time you exhaust everything in your house and in your garage, because I do believe most Americans have $500, if not $5,000 worth of stuff that they could sell in their garage, in their house, in their storage. Like, what's even in your storage? Do you know? You know what I mean? So get to know the game for free, right? Before you even spend a single dollar, by liquidating your own stuff, right? And after that, you still don't need to spend money. You can tell your friends and family, hey, look, I'm the new Goodwill. If you have stuff that you don't want, I'm doing this online selling stuff. drop it off on my porch, and I'd be happy to take it off your hands. Maybe you go pick it up, right? You could also look on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist to find free items, right? And then sell those online or sell them back on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist for money. That's act like free money right there. Picking up stuff that's free, relisting it with better pictures and better keywords, and then selling it for profit, right? So don't be afraid if you don't have money to get started, because I don't think you don't really need any. You can grow faster with money, but you can definitely start from zero. So,
Hey, Reezy.
yes.
Well, one thing super quick here. And I know, guys, we're kind of moving quick. When you look at the starting way to get some capital, I can tell you that I have done more through Craigslist and Facebook than just about anything, like any of the garage stuff, any of the personal stuff, and understanding a pricing model, see what's kind of selling, Google like what the fair market value is for your stuff, go into these places and see what is your Swin 10 speed selling for, what are other people selling it for. You need to make a decision at that point. Do I want to price this to sell, or do I want to be greedy? Price it to sell. Undercut the market by a couple bucks. Get better pictures. Update the description to where it's better than what other people are doing. There's a whole business that I want to make sure that you don't miss. If you go to Facebook Marketplace and you go to free, look at the stuff that's free, and what you think might not be valuable, somebody's going to find value in it. You need to literally just go get it. It's the same thing on Craigslist. Go to free and look at what people are giving away. I guarantee that if you just did that on the weekends or even a couple weekends a month, you can make at least $300 or $400 extra a month. And the only thing it's going to take from you is like the time to go get it and list it.
Especially if you're creative. My aunt, she is a 20-year, 30-year veteran reseller, and she's real into antique stuff, vintage stuff. And she will take a free table, then she will beat the hell out of it, spray paint it, drag it through the streets, hit it with a hammer a bunch of times, light stuff on fire on, I don't know. She does all kinds of crazy stuff. And then when she's done with it, that free table that would have only been worth 20 or 40 bucks, it's $150 distressed table, because you use, certain keywords, because you position it properly, right? You find that antique store that sells that high end stuff and you get a spot to put it in there on commission or whatever, right? There's no shortage of opportunities.
I keep going. Sorry, brother.
All right. Yeah, no worries. I appreciate it. So real quick, I want to cover print on demand. If you don't know what print on demand is, it is a business model that definitely takes $0 to start. So this hat that I'm wearing, this is print on demand right now, right? I created this design, which is a parody on Thrasher, of course, and I put it into my Etsy store, right? Etsy stores are free. They charge a very small percentage when a listing sells, and the listing, I think it's 30 cents to make a listing for 6 months. The way it works is I have a fulfillment partner called printful.com. They are linked, integrated with my Etsy store. They make these hats, right? So when you buy my hat off of my Etsy store, it then sends the order to Printful. Printful makes it. They charge me to produce the product, and then they send it to you. But I already captured the money on Etsy before Printful charged me to make the product. So I'm not investing any money to make this product. And this is a little bit different than what I would want you to do, because this is for my personal brand. People get to my store because they follow me on YouTube or whatever. And organically, this would probably not sell very well on Etsy, but a shirt with a farting unicorn, and the keyword says farting unicorn shirt, cute animals for girls, whatever the keyword optimization is, then that shirt sells for 25 bucks on Etsy. It only costs you 15 bucks to get it printed and shipped to the customer through your fulfillment partner. So you're making $10 profit, and you do the work once to either make the design or pay someone to make it. And it just keeps going and going. And it's not just shirts and hats. There is an endless amount of things that can be sold through print on demand. There's stickers, there's patches, there's coffee mugs, there's mouse pads, there's phone cases, there's face masks, there's neck gaiters, there's backpacks, there's yoga pants. There is an endless amount of things that you can make through a myriad of fulfillment partners and sell them through your Etsy store or any other store. Print on demand, I cannot stress enough, is a great business model. You do not have to have inventory on hand. In fact, it's one of the only business models that you can react super quickly to the marketplace. For example, let's say our great president, Donald Trump, says something and it doesn't sit well with people. Or for example, I'll use a real example. When he said, when he typoed the word coffee and it was like coffee or whatever the heck, right? 10 minutes after he did that and people saw that it started going viral, there was people making shirts that said, you know, like, I can't wake up unless I have my coffee or whatever, right? And so funny shirts around it. And then right? So he makes the tweet, it goes viral, someone sees it, they make the shirt, then they jump in the conversation on Twitter and then drop the link. That gets, 500 retweets and 3,000 likes. That's going to sell some t-shirts, right? And with print on demand, it's one of the only business models that you can react so fast to the market like that. And inside of the niche of print on demand, there is another business model called like direct publishing, print on demand publishing, right? So Amazon has a service called KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. Sign up for that and you can make books and then sell them direct to consumer on Amazon's marketplace the same way as I described before, using certain keywords that, I can't really explain search engine optimization in this thing, but learn search engine optimization, learn how to use auto-suggested phrase from search bars on platforms to get your listings to show up. But basically, and it doesn't have to be a book that you wrote. For example, there is people buy notebooks, right? So it's literally you're making a book that has nothing in it but lines, and then on the cover is a picture of a farting unicorn or a giraffe or an American flag or whatever niche that you're trying to market to on the cover. We call that a zero content book, right? There's other stuff. There's journals, there's logs. I had an idea to make a book for YouTubers to catalog their YouTube ideas. So this would be, maybe just 5 or 10 pages that continually repeat through a book. And it just helps you to track your ideas, to plot out your scenes and such, and, make sure you're hitting your goals. Like, to-do list books, calendars, all that stuff. Print on demand through Kindle Direct Publishing is huge. And if you have a book that's successful, you could see a lot of residual income from that. So that's kind of like the second thing. And then the third thing that I really want to talk to you guys about, I guess I'll touch on gig economy real quick. So if you need money right now and you don't have any money, sign up for Uber Eats, sign up for DoorDash, sign up for Instacart. It is very easy. You have a phone, you have a car, that's all you need to know. And then, as soon as you get approved, you can be out making money. Anybody watching this right now in America can make $20 to $50 an hour during, lunch rush and dinner rush, and then munchie rush late at night doing DoorDash, right? Instacart, depending on what your area is like, you might make more money. There is so many gig economy apps. There is also Shipped. There is also Postmates. There is also something called Caviar. There is also, I just found out the other day, there's one called Suds, which is you do people's laundry for them. So I imagine people's garages are full of washers and dryers and they're just getting money, right? And so understand all of the different marketplaces and see what the balance is where you live. What's the supply and demand? Because the supply of drivers working on the platform, or people like me and you that are trying to make money, and the demand of people that are using it, because DoorDash might not be good where you're at, but it might be good where I'm at. Uber Eats might be good where you're at, but it might not be good where I'm at. So find that one that's in the sweet spot that works for you. And it's going to take signing up for all the marketplaces, opening the apps and just looking and going, oh, wow, I could make $50 right now on Instacart, going to that grocery store and picking up 30 items and driving it 1 mile to the customer, right? You could do that in an hour or less. So that's $50 an hour. Just understand the opportunities and find out which one works best for you. Finally, I want to close with social media, building a personal brand or building a brand in general on social media, whether that is YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and many others. It's definitely possible to do. And I can tell you that in my last 4.5 years on YouTube, I have gotten 8 million views on YouTube. And from the AdSense alone, that's from the little ad you see on my YouTube video that you skip, I've put $105,000 in the bank. Profit, mostly profit, like 95% profit, no products involved to acquire that $105,000. But that's not it. I make a lot of money.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
You're telling me, for people all these people that want to be a lot of people want to be YouTube, so they want to make money on YouTube being an quote unquote influencer.
Yep.
First off, if you want to get exhausted on knowing how much content to put out, just go to Reezy's site so you can see how much stuff he's putting out. The say that again. In AdSense revenue, how much have you made?
In the last 4.5 years on YouTube, starting from zero, yep. I've put $105,000 into my bank account, and I am the product. So 95% of that's profit, besides like the camera I'm using or the laptop. Or, I mean, also there's another thing with a personal brand. There's a lot of things you can say were business expenses. If we go to Disneyland Paris and we make a video, that's a business expense. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more than that. And there's also, it's not just AdSense revenue. I charge $2,000 for a 30-second YouTube spot. If you're a brand and you want to work with me, we can negotiate, but that's my initial offer, right? For a 30-second spotlight. I also have a podcast. My podcast consists of audio that I've ripped off of my own YouTube videos and then put onto my podcast, and I charge $1,000 for 30-second ads for a package on my podcast, right? With your permission, I will probably put the audio from this onto my podcast, right? Anything I do that is consumable in audio format, I would like to put on the podcast, because that's a whole nother audience of people. They're too busy. They're driving, they're working out. They don't have time to sit down. I get it. I don't have a lot of time to sit down and watch a video, right? But one thing for sure that I want everyone to know is that if you want to make money on the internet, like through the whole personal brand or through the brand in general, you need to think about who the end customer is. And I got lucky. I did not think about who the end customer was. But if you, for example, I have a lot of friends, they have 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, but their channel is based around skateboarding. I make 10 times more than they do on YouTube with only 160,000 subscribers, because of the niche that my content is based around. Because of the ads, the potential ads that are going to show on my video are from people trying to sell you their $2,000, $5,000 course or their seminar, right? And so that affects how much I make on my share of the ad revenue because of the niche, right? So think about where you're going and how you're going to monetize it. Start a podcast. If you don't always have to be that guy that's on YouTube. It's not for everyone, right? Start a podcast. Sign up for anchor.fm. They have an app. It's the easiest way to make a podcast, and they bring the advertisers to you. This is the best part, right? I don't use Anchor, and so we fight, we reach out to people, we negotiate with them. Anchor, literally, you open up the app and it says, hey, Dove wants to advertise with you for this amount. Are you down? And then here's, the read that you have to have or whatever. And you're like, cool, let's do it, Dove, and that's super powerful. I know people that have been podcasting for less than a year that make enough off their podcast to pay a car payment. That is huge. That is so huge. Right. And so, maybe you're not on video, you can start a podcast, or maybe you want to start a blog, right? Start writing on a blog. There's a website called Medium that is a great place to post articles and build a brand. You can then embed those into your blog on your website. But the reason I recommend writing them on Medium on that platform is because it has organic search, okay? You could get your article featured. Did you know you could make money on Medium? You can sign up to be a partner on Medium, and then if you write an article and it gets viewed a lot, you make like a penny or 2 pennies or a nickel every time it gets viewed. I wrote an article on Medium that was featured by Gary Vee on his Medium, and it was around his Crushing It book that he wrote. Mine didn't get put into the book because I'm not big enough of a person or whatever, but it did get featured in his series on his Medium that he did, and it got like 30,000 reads or something. I could have made probably a couple $1,000 off that, but I didn't know that you could make money on Medium as a partner. I only did it because that's where Gary said he wanted the submissions, right? So sign up for Medium. Write articles on there, right? Anybody can do this stuff. A lot of people are like, I can't do YouTube. I'm not interesting. And I'm like, bullshit, bro. We just had an interesting conversation. You're interesting. It's hard to keep my attention. And I'm self-aware of this stuff. So like, you keep my attention and I'm like, yo, we should have pulled the camera out 5 minutes ago, B. Like, what? You are tripping. You're not interesting. That is not true. Another thing is think about it from a community perspective, right? Like I said, you might not be the face for the video. Hey, maybe you're not even the voice for the radio, but you can make a community, start a Facebook group around what you love, what you're good at, what you know about. Hopefully the end potential consumer, there's some money in it. They're not, just kids playing video games or whatever. And that will increase your opportunity and chances to make money. But for example, you can make a group about skateboarding. I don't know, about old great skaters, and you just share stories and you personally consume as much content around that niche as you can so that you can have a good opinion and create new viewpoints and data for your following and your community. And once you build an active, successful community, it's nothing to make a hat, for your brand and then throw the link out there, and you own that. You own that Facebook group. I mean, I guess it's on Facebook's platform, but quote unquote, you own it or whatever. And a Facebook group is a sellable asset. You can build a group around a niche and you can sell it, right? You don't have any money. You don't know what to do. Get out your phone and start tapping your thumbs away. I always tell people, they're like, Reezy, you're such a big, social media dude and blah. And I'm like, I'm just a regular guy that spent way too much time on his phone. You know what I mean? Just that's what happens when you spend enough time on your phone. You're going to figure out how to make money. I trust you, right? And if not, you're following the wrong people. Get involved with some other people. So Facebook groups, huge. Facebook page, huge. Build a community. Build 10 Facebook pages. Find out which one works the best, right? Twitter. Start a Twitter, right? So you could do this all for your personal brand. That's the way that I have done it, right? And personally, I like that. Maybe I'm a little bit narcissistic or whatever. Reezy Resells, that's my personal brand. But maybe you build out a Twitter and it's around synthesizers or the history of synthesizers. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up right now. And so you get deep in that and you have something to post every single day. And let's say you have you use what is it called? Meet Edgar, I think, is a Twitter app that allows you to automatically post to Twitter, and it will shuffle it around so it's different. Professional people on social media are not just on it and commenting and engaging and posting what they think about. They're using automatic apps to schedule their posts, and they are scheduling content out for like a year in advance. So imagine I build out a page that's about synthesizers on Twitter, and I never show my face. It's not Reezy Resells. It's, synthesizer Twitter, right? Every day we post 2 times about, synthesizer history and old synthesizers or whatever. And I have scheduled posts out for an entire year, right? Maybe 2 years. After that ends, if they're not like pertinent to right now, those posts can start repeating on Twitter again. And no one will ever know that, hey, you posted this 2 years ago. No one will ever know. Like, there's a churn rate with audience, right? And it's likely less than 2 years. So here, now I have this 30,000 follower synthesizer page that posts twice a day. I could sell that. That's a sellable asset. I could say, hey, I want $10,000 for this Twitter page. And then if it makes sense to you, you can look at it and go, okay, well, here's our page. We post 2 times a day. It's in the synthesizer niche. And maybe you're an artist that makes synthesizer-based music. Or maybe, you have a synthesizer you want to sell. I don't know. If that makes sense, you then buy it. You, of course, continue with what we've been doing that builds up our audience. But now you got a link in the bio to your website or to your book you just wrote or to the synthesizer that you're releasing. Or now you have a place to post your Kickstarter ad for your new modular synthesizer that you're making. And you didn't have to pay me $2,000 for a 30-second spot on my YouTube channel, which may or may not be as authentic as you doing it yourself in your own niche, right? So a lot of adults probably don't realize this, but there is kids 12, 14, 15, 16. They are just sitting at home with no money, crushing it, building up giant Twitters and Instagrams, and then selling ads. Oh, how much for a shout out? $50. How much for the feed? Sits there for 24 hours. Oh, you want link in bio? That's 50 more bucks. Oh, you want to swipe up on a story? That's 50 more bucks. Well, let's make a package deal. You know what I mean? You can create an Instagram or a Twitter, and that could be a sellable asset. You could also sell ads. Look, here's my Twitter. We also sell shout outs on this Twitter for $50. We regularly sell this many shout outs per month. All of these things are digital assets that you can build starting from zero, right? And really, it's all just about providing value. What are people doing on the internet? How do they operate on a certain app? And you need to really examine how you use it yourself and how can you provide value to people in that scenario. You know what I mean? Hopefully doing something that you like. I actually heard yesterday from a guy that I know that's a huge reseller. Shout out West Coast Goods. He sells a lot. The dude is just hundreds, 200 packages a day, wrapping packages to ship out. And he told me, he was like, yeah, I bought a conspiracy Twitter, and then I wrote a book about conspiracy theories, and I made more money selling that book on that Twitter page than I did reselling last month. And this is a guy that sells 100 to 200 packages of stuff a day. He's probably making 200, 400, 500, if not thousands of dollars a day. And he's not sharing me, you know, what Twitter it is or where the book is or whatever. But I just had to sit back and be like, wow, either you're making way less money, I thought, reselling, or you made a ton of money selling this book. And what do you do? You know, he's like, okay, I researched, I bought the Twitter around conspiracy. They post X amount of time. They have 30,000 followers. Now all I do is read conspiracy theory books in my spare time, which I actually enjoy, so that I can be educated to continue posting to this audience and keep it relevant. And yeah, I have a link at the top. That's my book. We might drop some shirts in the future. You know, maybe we have a meetup that costs, you know, $5 to $10 to get in. A lot of people know, I believe his name is Lewis Howe. Lewis Howes. What's it? You know, what's it? How?
Right. Lewis Howes. Yep.
Howes. Yeah. He built his whole thing up through LinkedIn and creating community events. If you've read his book, his whole thing was like, okay, it was a free meetup. Then it was $5 to get in. Then it was 20. Now we got hundreds of people meeting up. Now I'm getting 50% of the bar tab for the meetups that I'm negotiating with the restaurants. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he did $1 million in revenue from in-person meetups in his first year.
Yeah, that was his beginning.
And that's all based around a personal brand, building a community, bringing people together, providing value, and it didn't cost any money. It's time to learn how to do these things, how to leverage these platforms, how to get people's attention. You know what I mean? But that's
the biggest, the thing, Reezy, right there is the, what you just said is extremely important, that people, like, you kind of need to absorb it. It's the only thing it takes is time. And it's like, yeah, but my time's everything. My time's really valuable. I don't have the time. Well, you'll make time for the things that are important.
Yeah, well, then it's not for you.
Dude, well, here's the thing is you're wasting a lot of time too, between sleeping and all the stuff that you do, you waste a lot of time. It's like, you don't realize that there's buckets of time to where if you really want to invest in just trying something, the only thing you're out is maybe, like, if you build a website, maybe you're out $20-30, like getting an email, like, it's not going to cost you a ton of money. For me, like, when we start any new venture, I'm like you, I don't raise money for any businesses. It's always bootstrap. So it's like, prove the concept, get the customers, build a revenue stream. I'll get investment to scale, but I would never get investment to start, because you have an idea. It's not a business. And I have to make that decision and delineate. Do I want to spend the time building the website, understanding the marketplace, understanding my product and services, understanding the problem I solve, the people I need to help, building the community, understanding the community, and then getting the website and stuff done? It's like, how much time does that take me? I don't know, as much time as it takes. Right. But it's one of those things where I think you and I are a little bit different. This is also what I like to do. I don't have hobbies. Like, this is what I like to do. I started gaming again, which I haven't like really gamed. Like, I used to game a lot as a kid, and it's like, bought an Xbox, and it's like, started playing, and it's like, I'm trying to keep up. Dude, I got a 16-year-old kid in the house that's got like thousands of hours on 2K, and I'm trying to keep up with him because he keeps kicking my ass. And it's like, yo, dude, like, I'm up. The block of time I got is 3 to 5 in the morning, and I'm trying to get it done. It's like, there's time to do stuff if you think that it's important, right?
Yeah.
If you really want to invest the time in figuring it out.
And
dude, there's so much value that you're gonna have to re-listen to this stuff. And one thing I know about Reezy is if you've got a question, he's already got a video for it. Like, he's already explained it, and he's in his car doing it. Like, he's literally doing it while he's filming you and then showing you the app, and like, he's doing it in real time. If people have questions and want to find out more about you, where should they go?
Real quick, one more piece I want to get in.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. Yeah, go run it.
Just what you just said right now reminded me. Questions are content. So if you don't know what you should be making content on, you need to start listening to the questions that people ask you, because there's a reason people ask you questions. You know, I don't really know how to use tools very well, but my neighbor, I see his garage, he got a lot of tools and he always using them. So when I need to know about tools, I'll go ask him about some tools, and he'll tell me, and he'll show me how to use it, and he'll let me borrow it, you know. And then he'll say he wants to do YouTube or social media, but he just doesn't know what it should be about. And I'm like, dude, obviously it should be about tools. How many questions do you get about tools? What do your friends consider you an expert on? You know what I mean? Everybody gets asked questions, and those are things that you can be providing value around. The chances are that that one person is the only one that had that question is next to zero, right? So understand that questions are content, even if you're not a big creator, or even if you are, you know. If I get a question enough times, you better believe I'm making a video about it. That's like a dead sign that you should make a video. But if you guys want to reach me, go to my website, reezyresells.com, grab a free copy of my intro to Amazon course. It's 100% free. I won't sell you anything, and that will teach you everything you need to know, much more than I could disseminate in this video, to get going on Amazon. And I promise you that will lead you to a multitude of opportunities, as well as, you know, all my social media is on there. It's Reezy Resells on anything. And just remember, guys, if you ain't flipping, you slipping.
That's it. I love it, brother. Man, I honor our friendship. I look up to you, dude. Like I've said to every speaker, it's like you know, there's a part of my my being that I can attribute to some knowledge I've learned from Reezy. I know you got some stuff coming with Gary V. You know, the COVID thing's got things weird. What's up? You're gonna do another tea?
I'm not sure exactly. I believe it is this coming Wednesday. Those guys are so busy, and they've rescheduled with me about 3 or 4 times. But I believe it's this coming Wednesday. I will be live with Gary V on Tea with Gary V, and it is at 9 a.m. East Coast time, 6 a.m. West Coast time. So your boy gonna have to get up a little early for that one.
You got this.
But I don't know how we're only going to talk for 5 to 7 minutes, just because neither of us really operate like that.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess be concise.
Yeah. But I would be blessed to have some of you guys show up and show some support. I'm going to be asking Gary about how he built his team to help him run his personal brand.
Empathy Wines, man. Congratulations on that buy. That was a big one. A lot of money.
Oh yeah, it's the first step of him showing, you know, his whole, he always talks about buying peanut butter, Peter Pan peanut butter. God, that's a tongue twister. And then flipping it for big bucks. And that's how he's going to get to the Jets. So he created this brand from scratch, but
Booze will do it.
Back half of it, you know, the reason the brand blew up, the deal it sold, etc. That's exactly the same as what he's going to have to do when he buys another brand, you know, because doing what he's doing is not going to get him the Jets. He's going to have to create more of these multi-million-dollar deals.
Dude, who knows? We're like, with what's going on right now, the valuation's got to be lower. This might be early. He might be able to move on it. The what did he sell that for? Do you know what he did? Would they disclose it?
I don't know, actually.
I don't think it's public.
20 million, something like that.
I don't know. I mean, there's I had a couple.
I know they did like either 1.5 or 2.5 million revenue in the first year. So that valuation makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.